Everyone. Am doing a my live reading transmission, and the topic is reclaiming death and rebirth, the energy of the rebirth from necropolitics, um, which is in necropolitics is it's actually a critical theory point of view uh, by by French scholars, like by French scholars. I will send the resources on, and it's actually a titled book that you can pick up if you're all interested. By I'm gonna butcher the name wrong, so I am just not gonna pronounce it, but it is Akil Mumbre. If you give me pronunciation, let me know. But the crux of it, to summarize a critical Francophone book uh, on it that I read, that don't read, is that is basically the idea that powers and people and structures of power are being molded to be relate to death and dying in such a way that it's about dictating who gets to live and who gets to die, who gets to be part of the moral in literal triage, and who doesn't get to be included in the moral in triage. The clearest example of necropolitic, as defined as a social theory that of the use of social political power to dictate how some people may live and how some people must die, part is the issue of of Indonesia, and the issue of dying, you know, mercy death or pulling the plug kind of scenarios. That where you have one hand, a lot of people, you know, wanting, who are within, more fundamentalist, uh, in this case, my context, Christian circles, on why should, pull the plug or be for euthanasia or for like those kind of things. Like there's a soul there, even though the person is just at a vegetative state. But what that's during that conversation around if someone's terminally ill or is in a state where not anymore, like what do you do? And but due to the reality that life living, you know, the active complication is being marked by, marginalized identities of being told that we're not allowed to live anyway, including ableism and disability people who are being told that their lives are not worthing, like that euthanasia episode is kind of weaponized to reinforce uh, who to reinforce, triage. What and since there's a lot of, you know let's be honest, like policies and cultural norms and this that just don't care about offering basic human rights and needs for disabled people everywhere and marginalized people in poverty. And and there's always a triage in the medical healthcare system or any healing system. So so you so there isn't like no real way to discuss like end of life things or how to facilitate, like, you know end of life due to the overly terrible realities of one hand, terrible abuse of power in the medical system that leads to, you know, tricky people to use, like, things that end lives, or just either end lives through neglect or deliberate, like, deliberate killing in medical and hospice settings of marginalized people for money, or, and if it's not money, it's for bigotry and power tripping. So that's an example of a necropolitic dilemma, and but that which makes any form of decision of determining how you want to end your life very rot, when it's conditioned to you to think that you have to end a life, and die, that is conditioned by worldviews that don't value as a person even how you want to die. Even how you want to die. We can't even, come back against, puritanical fundamentalists on on ending a life ethically in medical settings, when there's already so much ammo that gives rather that justifies, those stances, because because a lot of places don't value other people's lives, and will find ways to pressure them into ending it or manufactured consent. All manufactured consent, propaganda, through tearing down your self-esteem and other community centristry, through re-traumatizing you, all those weird shit that will get you to not find ways to dissuade you from your right to survive. And anyway, even the right to survive in a medical setting, or in both not. So that is what you're. That's why Necropolitic. The more in depth, if you want to read, I can share the link to the book of Necropolitic, which is a francophone like social theory, and the reason why I'm reading this is because of calling the death, which is supposed to be on Halloween, but things happen and I'm here, is because, but it's still the spirit of it, because they're going to the winter anyway, is my thing, is that that we have created a very inhumane and dysfunctional relationship with death and dying and rebirth, because of necropolitics, of moral injurious situations, of atrocious bullshit, you know, triages that that creates, understandable and reactionary responses to the reality of death and the energy and the meaning of death because of that. And but that also can create a way of living and a way of hurting death that dishonors your spirit and body, that either creates spiritual bypassing, or it just creates like a like live at all costs perspective, that neither positions are helpful, but we're just stuck because, well, where so many polycrises are bringing a lot of death. Multiple genocides are also bring so much death and murder and where there is no sugarcoating of those things. And there's just no way to get through the collective pain of the poly crisis, the multiple genocides, multiple like neglect, cultural neglect, and moral interest triages that are like ridiculous. And I just want to be in the spirit of reconnecting the spirit of death and rebirth, like the, of how do we reclaim the medicine of death and rebirth, even we're feeling through the Molly crisis at a macro level and a micro level. So let's start with it. We'll start with how does the energy and the intention I'm setting for the first set is going to be 3 intentions to examine this reclamation process of but like what do we need to become as a collective in order to face the necropolitic both head on and with our our integrity intact facing the necropolitic. Like what do we have to face? It, you know. So yeah. Um let's just like 3 cards of how where do we collective we need to be called to face the necropolitic, and that's on a collective level. You know, and this will be on a collective level, you know, as well as both, like on a personal and collective level. So I think I'll pull one more. Oh, okay. So that's um no, this is probably not it. Uh, oh. Mhm. Okay, this is not a coincidence because the last time has a tower thing in it, and it's on a different card too, a nicer card. But this is like wild and unknown tower. There's a little bit of the shadow work aspect of it, the wilderness shadow work aspect. So here is the tower. The tree's burning down. True, true. I'm sending it to the other camera so they can see it. Tree, tower, boom. Yeah, there's no ambiguity. 10 of wands. No ambiguity that there too. Clear the burdens. They are not ours. Sort of situation. Like this is getting very interesting. And then the moon, like the moon. Here's the moon card. I'm sending it to different cameras because I am live in 2 different places. So here's the moon, little moon. Whew. This is bananas. Picked tower card last week, but it's for a different damn question. This is clearing some something. This is clearing something. You know, this is clearing something. This is clearing something. You know, let me be with this for a moment. That just means whatever foundation is not solid needs to be shaken up, and whatever burden, whatever responsibility that you're going to carry, examine that. Like what are our responsibilities are, because traditionally in this card it means like there's a lot of weight on your shoulders that, after going to the 9 and the 8, take you to a journey, and then going through a change in that journey, and now you're faced with like these big responsibilities to be called to either face, or you have to let go to, or you have to choose not to take them, because there's just so much to decide or think about. And with a lot of burden, unlike the 10 of Swords, which is like, oh, there's a deep betrayal and burden to be cut off, you're done, and it needs to end quick. Because there's just so much there that just needs to drop. This one is the burden to wrestle with, like, where can we collect it, unload the things, to be free, so that we could be free to take more collective responsibility on, and to be a source of collective responsibility on valuing all the lives of others. And also the collective, where are we in our own bigotry, in who of who where am I at subconsciously, where I am unintentionally internalizing values of which person deserves to live or die in my own life. Am I also discounting myself? So this is huge, like, clearing that just needs to happen on a collective and personal level, of not just the unnecessary burden that is holding you back from being more responsible for the lives of others, but also what are the unconscious beliefs and dogmas that 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 dictate me in whose lives I value more. Like, which one I want to see. Well, am I disguising it as like an issue or something? And this is becoming crude as we're seeing, well, people who like are just so psychologically dehumanized and broken, and honestly, like, propagandized, and that, and are so caught up in their own drowning while being propagandized, that well, they can't really conceive the horrors. They can't even see their own horror. you know, their own, how they erase themselves. What makes you think, much in general, and they're compensated by erasing other people in their minds for the level of self-erasure that they do, and they don't realize that they're overcompensating it, and giving into to necropolitic on a personal level by thinking, that that those lives over there, I mean, they can't even value them their own in a healthy way. Obviously, they're not going to have like a way of holding in their body, and then holding the cognitive dissonance of me. I'm alive here, but there's something like there's so much the multiple genocides and multiple neglect, death by neglect scenarios, not just actively like violating human rights everywhere, but the active neglect is just mind in there, and it's and because there's just prison there needs to be a clearing of that will clear all that crap, not just for material condition wise, and clearing that to finally break that hold. So this is like the first card of how to face this is to what is a way to break those faulty foundations and break yourself free from the imprisoning things that devalue, that put you in a position of devaluing your own life, or do you value others to value yours, or to devalue your, like put yourself in those things. So yeah, this is really important. So now the next part is how where can we all repair the relationship with death and rebirth, to repair and liberate to repair and liberate death and rebirth. So this is like the next one. Like fatality. Soul corrosions. You know, look at multiple cameras, and you know, you can't. Oh, self-respect. Oh, damn, that's okay. 10, 10, 10. Okay, this is interesting. The death card. Yeah, how did we came to death before? The death card. Death card. Death card. Death card. Eight of Cups. Grass going to the mountain, and then with broken glasses. Broken glasses. This is interesting. And then okay, it's 10 of Wands again. Responsibility, burdens, examining ownership and responsibility, but also examining like how much burden that oppression is putting on you that is not yours to bear as well. So it's how to repair this relationship is that's like that's guard. Traditionally, it's actually this energy is about bones decay, transformation, and transmutation and alchemy into rebirth. So it's literally death and rebirth, and the whole journey that comes with death and rebirth. And it's going to be from death first, and then to the 10. And from this direction, it's like, shift is transform how you do social formation, and 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 transform how you transform kind of as a person and as a culture. How it means cultural liberation, personal and collective liberation, and create and be in surrender of a spiritual of a different reformation process. Is what I'm hearing, but this is like on the terms of shaking. It's not the tower shaking up, but this is like collective initiation to adulthood, and you on a personal initiation to become the chrysalis into the butterfly, going through now to not hold yourself, to not delay any further, to enter to the chrysalis phase and the initiation phase. The initiation phase and then the chrysalis phase actually go to the initiation phase and of maturation. Of maturing as a person and a maturation of the culture, which will require like going to the goo and then going to like initiation of you know because and then going through the journey and we risk to raise big glasses as you're going through the journey into the mountain and exploring into the mountains. In this case, this is really like going to the deep journey of within yourself on a personal level and on a collective level of the old dark night of the soul shit and shedding all the unnecessary burden that oppression puts on us. That and be willing to to declare and proclaim like cultural and spiritual liberation and transformation uh, as a starting point of revolution. You could have a revolution without liberation and transformation, but to start with revolution and then you have a way of creating a tangible evolution. But you have to invite not just liberation and transformation, but to actually invite that to be materialized in our own life and go to the journey that will take us as a personal and collective level. And whatever constructs and dogmas and collective oppressions that are weighing a lot of people down, that are doing it to the ground, need to be confronted and cleared off. Cleared off. So there is a call for liberation and transformation to take place, and materialize that. But part of materializing is unlearning the reactionary politic, the beliefs, the malformations of that are there, as well as going to the things that are going to transform us and make it concrete, make it tangible, to make it tangible and on the ground. I mean, as this is showing with the caps that is broken into the mountains during the deep, the intersection of dreamland and into the mountains. You know, like how do you create collective reality co-creation and an actualization and actually actualizing it proactively reality as you are actualizing liberation and transformation to transmute the weight of the world and lighten the load as you're transmuting that. So that is a big, big, big thing to notice. That's a huge thing. that done. The last but not least, and death and rebirth is well, this is another question. Another thing to call in is how do we how like who do we have who we're calling to be to be able to participate in the process of of reclaiming rebirth, and then what energy are we calling to tap into in the process of reclaiming death and rebirth in the form of personal and cultural and collective liberation and transformation. And let's see where it goes from here. I guess one more. These are two. So it's one drop, so I'm going to trust that intuition. Chariots. The chariot. The horse. The chariots. Another camera. I'm turning cameras. Chariot. Chariot. Cute horsey. Such a cute horsey. Next is Three of Wands. And then now it's here. I'm moving to the cameras. I'm two things at once. Here, three. It's just Three of Wands from the Wild Unknown Tarot. And then this Eight of Swords. Self-imprisonment. It's going to go from Chariot to Eight of Swords, reading this draft. And it's very clear is to tap into collective and personal power and agency and find ways to create momentum that require deeper commitment and devotion through the collective dream and vision. And in this case, the Three of Wands is out of 1 and 2. That's about inspiration, fire, entrepreneurship, creativity, spirit. It's also about deep vision of desire and desired outcomes and also outcomes. And in this case, this is about seeing seeing the vision. And now this is where diving the deeper vision of that vision of the focus of deepening the commitment of the personal and collective dreams of human of human flourishing and eco justice and universal human rights, vision of contextualizing and practicalizing on a personal and collective, you know, embodying and honoring universal human rights, protection for you know, human flourishing and thriving, and beloved community and beloved community. The vision and tangibilizing it while also feeling it within their bodies and hearts on a personal and collective level, feeling it as a tangible, feeling it, being in the energy, being consistent in the collective and personal energy, and sanctify that energy and spirit to have while gaining capacity and resources and and power for that is where is the momentum of that there, and what are self-imposed beliefs, hesitations and considerations and things that hold you back to be listened to, that because a lot is what's holding back. And there's normally two sides of holding back three aspects. Look at if there is a reasonable bodily protective instinct reaction that either is from a trauma response or from actual true experiences that it wants to communicate because they are automatic. Another level of holding back is like, like beliefs that untruthful beliefs or dogmas and shoulds that you thought as a should, but it's not a should that honors your humanity kind of should, and you didn't realize that you're conditioned for that problematic should, problematic like belief or thought process or habit. So that's another level holding back. And then the second holding back is, what are desires and needs that on a personal and a collective that has not been recognized, and it's been meeting those collective and personal needs through holding back, through in the form of considerations, the form of being cagey, but that cagey is a sign of like needs that just been waiting to be felt and recognized and to be discussed. So it's really looking at the momentum of where that's being actualized in whatever, and while honoring the collective and cultural context that you're living in, but also take the time as you're finding the momentum of the actual of the momentum for the vision of a beloved community, for all universal human rights to be honored, and all human flourishing, that look at the three levels of self-imposed holding back. The holding back that is from an actual trauma response or protective instincts, holding back, and that's from conditioned beliefs that are not at service to anyone involved, including yourself, or a holding back where there's a desire that's just being met that you didn't recognize it, and it's in the form of being cagey and resistance, but that resistance is communicating a desire that on a personal that can be recognized and then needs to take a step back and be like that. So that's the big crux of of a lot of this. And I mean, I've been trying to do my camera. So this is a pretty blunt, straightforward of like reckoning a lot of things. But as you're reckoning a lot of things and deconstruct some of it, there's also a direction of finding the momentum and being proactive and in finding your own way of beloved community, your own way of embodying human rights and human flourishing and support of that and supporting that in some way while you're facing, you know, the holding back and the different layers of holding back and what aspects of it is medicine and what aspect of it is my own conditioning of that rooted in oppression and in self-hatred and in bigotry of the other person that I need to examine myself. So yeah, you are. This is like, end of this reading. I'd be looking forward to do more of these and when the time is right. And I'm grateful to you all. And I sending message of the energy of tenderness and on tenderness to everyone for today and the next few days. So peace be with you, and peace be with myself, and pray and hope you enjoyed this cast. So we'll see you next time. Talk to you soon. Bye.